is considered by most of the boys as the best event on tour, I think, and it's just my favourite event, so it was perfectly fitting to call it my last. A little bit uneasy just because I was a little bit nervous just on how it's all going to unfold, and I didn't even think about performing well. I kind of just forgot to surf. It probably hasn't sunk in, but on the other hand, I really am looking forward to it. I don't feel competitive anymore. I much prefer the part where I'm having a beer with all the boys and just kind of relaxing. All the boys have shown so much support, and they all high-five me and give me the best vibe, which is such a good feeling. And just all my friends and family and fans, it's so cool to see how many people support surfing and me as well. And you forget sometimes when you're in it, and then you see all this love coming from everyone. It feels incredible. So yeah, I'm really happy.
Welcome back to the Fiji Pro. Stop number 5 of the Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour will be the event where Taj Burrow hangs up the number 99 jersey. Alongside former world champ Martin Potter. The stage is set, Australia versus Hawaii. A guy named John Florence, who's one of the most popular, most dangerous surfers in the world, especially in these hollow left-hander conditions. Then you've got this talented Australian that just took over the world with his video parts, former runner-up in the world. We'll be calling it quits. Let's get this thing started. We've got a wave here setting up for John. Late takeoff, slamming on the brakes to pull in. Nice and hollow, perfect positioning. He gets spat out. Setting up that big highline carve, squaring up under the lip. He'll go down on the finish. But one of the best barrels of the day going down for Florence.
I mean, just the technique, right? I mean, you know straight away what's going to happen. As soon as he starts dragging, he gets into that position. We've seen that at Chopu on those big days. It is so hard to do that, you know, just to take off straight away and engage the body, slow yourself down, come out with the spit. I mean, that's maximizing time behind the curtain, Joe. John straight out of the gates. I mean, let's have a look. Beautiful size wave as well. See how he just slows himself right down. Perfect positioning right there. Now he lets go and comes out with that spray. And then look at that turn right there. I mean, just beautiful technique from John. Once more at the end, but goes down. But incredible opening wave. Taj had a quick start, but John answered back with this. And there's probably no better tube style in the world right there than John Florence. That was absolutely perfect from him. And then finished off with a little bit of a wipeout. Could have maybe tacked maybe an extra half a point on the end of that ride, but it's going to be a good one nonetheless.
John Florence had an interesting start to the season. A couple of heavy losses to Caio Ibelli at a couple of events in a row. John finally got back on Caio in Rio, and then he went on to win the contest. We saw him shift all the way to number 3 in the world. Remember, Italo Freire out of the event. He was number 2 in the world. So John with a great position to try to completely take over the top 34. We mentioned Medina's amazing comeback last season, where he did well at lowers at Tahiti and in France. John did that the year before. He went from a 3rd to a 2nd to a big win in France. Just like Medina, Florence starting a little bit earlier on his comeback to form.
Yeah, and we all know what happens when this kid gets on a roll. I mean, it could spell danger for sure. It's going to put a little bit of pressure on Matty Wilco coming up in the last heat of the day if John makes it through this one. There it is, opening score, 8.17. That's how you start, and that's how you put the pressure on.
Taj Burrow just with a 2.0, needing a 6.18. Florence calling up B. Durbich to get in his corner for this event. They worked together on the Gold Coast, and John just loved the coaching relationship. Got him out here over the South Pacific. Big adjustment for B to just not staying on Motu for the first time, but he's been loving it. Taj Burrow now up. Slams on the brakes, nice and hollow section. Burrow comes out after the spit, setting up that backhand. Beautiful carve off the top. Burrow wants more. Eyeing that lip line. Carves it back to the source. Now will just continue to swing off the top. Taj enjoyed that one, just coasting his way to the channel, getting barreled, doing some big turns. He's got to be happy with that one, Potts.
Well, if there was any question whether Taj was going to take this heat seriously, there's your answer, Joe. There is your answer. Game on for Taj. I mean, he wants to do well. I mean, what a heat to have just to maybe finish your career or maybe move on. Taj there, you can see him slowing himself down, comes out after the spit. And then that trademark bottom turn, top turn combo. How many times have we seen that? And seen that to take him to success as well. So Taj looking sharp, answers back, needs a 6.18. I think we'll see the lead change. Another view from the water. Snaps it under the lip there, just disappears. Comes out nicely. I mean, look at the conditions right now. Absolute butter. Board is just cutting through the water beautifully for Taj Burrow. Needing a 6.18. Right behind him, though, have a look at this one.
Florence casually bottom turns into a beautiful cavern, still stalling. He'll pop out of the first section. Saw this big section coming down, so he goes around it. Beautiful rail work. Nice clean line, not much on offer.
And we'll see another lead change. I love heats like this. I love heats where these guys are going to get enough waves just to go back to back. You know, if Taj doesn't win this heat, I'd love to see him get a huge opportunity just to show how good this kid still is. And you know what? He's retiring because he wants to, Joe, not because he has to. He's not falling off the tour. He's not, you know, in bad form. He's quitting because he's got to that point in his career where it's time. John takes off nice deep bottom turn, mid-face check, then slides himself in there. He's got that ability to slow himself down so much more and then high lines it around this section. And right here, that rail work that you're talking about extends that body. Very unique style from John. Not a lot of arm movement involved in his surfing. Very, very unique. We'll get to watch his tube stance, his technique in the barrel. Now he starts to drag that body. You can see how he slows himself right down, maximizing that time inside, which equals points. Scores dropping for Taj, and it's looking like a gem. Joe, there it is.
25:30 on the clock. Taj Burrow locks in an 8.0, getting barreled on the takeoff. Multiple turns to the inside corner. Answers back to John's start with an 8.17. Remember, Florence just got another score. Just needed a 1.83, so he'll be back in first. But this heat is on. What an epic showcase of talent. John showing he is the best backside tube rider in the world. And Taj Burrow showing that age is just a number. He's still the grommet on tour. That's kind of been a tagline for Taj Burrow when he started, you know, getting into the 30 club. Now he's approaching 40. He still signs up for boat trips with some of the younger names on tour like Lohan Dino and the crew to keep his surfing fresh and young. We know his tour life is coming to a close, but I would be so happy to watch some more signature films coming his way.
Oh, I can tell you that's going to happen. I mean, I know from experience, Joe, I'm still a grommet at heart. The first thing I do every morning is check the wind and, you know, froth to get out in the water. And I'm 50 years old, so I can't see Taj slowing down anytime soon. I mean, his competitive career might be coming to an end, but his surfing career is only just beginning.
You've been ripping, by the way, Potts.
Thank you, Joe.
Board looks magic. Tim Stamps, quad. Works
Beautiful.
perfectly out. Are you surprised you're not seeing more quads in competition here at Cloudbreak?
We've seen a few. I mean, you know, talking to Geordie the other day, he said he finds it harder to wipe speed off with a quad than it is a thruster. And in situations like this, you want to be able to do that to keep yourself in the barrel longer. So everyone's different.
Having a look now, Taj Burrow, a bouncy takeoff. He hangs on, grabbing that rail, now pulls in. He's got a beautiful line and staying open for Taj. It spits and Taj comes out. Now setting up for some turns. Taj gets a big carve off the top. Nice and vertical. Hammers a huge section. Taj with more room to pull in. All set up work. It's going to be back to work off the top with turns on the open face. Backside rail work. Nice and solid from Burrow. He said he's been feeding off all the energy from friends and family, sending him messages. His jersey's been flying off the shelf. The number 99 belongs to Taj. And he is putting up a fight against Florence. John got a 6.17 to take the lead. So Potts, Taj needed a 6.35 there.
Another lead change, Joe. Guaranteed. I mean, let's have a look. Late drop there, critical stuff, bouncing around, but manages to pull in tight, slows himself down, maximizing that time, comes out, Not a clean exit, but an exit nonetheless. Now he starts to unload some good turns here. This turn right here, critical stuff from Taj. Jams it under the lip there and comes out strong. And this wave just kept offering him some scoring potential. Brings this one all the way through. It's going to be a huge score from Taj Burrow, and a 6.35, I think, easily. It's going to move Taj back into that first place and put a little bit more pressure on John. See how critical that first bottom turn was, Joe. Bouncing around on that white water, but hanging in there and then fighting his way through that barrel. Great stuff from Taj Burrow. This next turn is where I think a lot of the points will come from as well. Jamming that under the lip there. Critical stuff from Taj Burrow. Came out with a lot of speed, so great transition between manoeuvres. Variety of repertoire. Combination of major manoeuvres. Ticking a lot of boxes right there in the judging criteria.
Well, this is such a special heat on paper. Florence, one of the favorites around the world, and Taj Burrow in almost a send-off feeling event, because we never know when his last heat will be. He's fighting against John at the moment. We have Strider Wazalewski in the water. The Waz, what's the vibe like knowing this is such an incredible heat?
It's pretty amazing. I think the entire island of Namotu has come out, including everybody that's worked there. It's pretty incredible to watch everybody out here getting excited, and John's trying to fight back right now. But I must say, the vibe in the water is for Taj. I mean, everybody out here, you know, they say the word mono and you have that vibe going for you. Everybody out here pretty much has got that ready for him, and they're screaming and hooting and going off for him. Mick's staying in the lineup, as well as everybody else. Everybody's got so much support here from all of his friends. It's really good to see. Possibly his last heat or last event, and it's so good to see all the support that he's got out here in the water right now.
Well, Strider, they have to be screaming because Taj just locked in a 9.2 following up his 8-point ride. John now needs a 9.04 to come back. They have a lot to celebrate. Strider focusing on Taj's technique. We already know he's one of the best surfers in the world, and he has been for 2 decades. What do you like about his backhand here at Cloudbreak?
Well, honestly, he just knows which waves to be on. The reality is it's a wave catching contest at this point, because all these guys, we heard Jeremy talk about in his post heat, have the talent to do what it takes to get 8s and 9s. You got to be on the right waves, and that's just the end of it. And right now, Taj has been on a couple of the best waves that have come through. Heat's not over. Plenty of surfing to be done. Plenty of waves to be ridden.
Thank you very much, Strider. 20 minutes on the clock, a big lead change, and we've had lead changes with every single moment in this matchup so far. John getting a quick start. He's up again now, looking for the lead. Needs a 9.04 in the barrel. Spits once behind him. Another big section. Florence comes out. A big answer back. Further on the inside, but Taj is on an absolute screamer. Well, double overhead on the takeoff. Jams a big backside carve. Now he's running after a hollow section. Still making him wait for it, so he'll rip another huge backside tail drift off the section and get out. Burrow is not holding back.
I think this is the best I've seen him surf in quite some time, to be honest with you, Joe. He's got one of the toughest heats out of anyone, and he is absolutely answering the call as he takes in the big breaths right there. You can tell Taj is putting everything into that.
Got back on the ski, put his head down right behind Lyndon Ringrose, and went by everybody wearing his jersey number 99 in the channel. All of Namotu cheering him on. We're celebrating 19 years on the championship tour, 11 CT wins, including epic moments like a Pipe Masters title. He had key heats with Kelly, Andy, Joel Parkinson, Mick Fanning over the years. And he always found the time to balance being runner-up in the world and featuring classic movies like Montage, Sabotage. A couple of my personal favorites.
Yeah, I mean, they're all amazing. You can see there, John pulling into the barrel in the beginning, Taj coming out of a tube on the outside. We missed that. But then watch this turn right here from Taj Burrow. I mean, that's a turn that is valid for many more years to come on the tour. Taj just bringing this one through the inside, and then this next turn as well. Bang! Throws a tail out. That's what we're used to seeing from Taj Burrow. And I dare say we might see that 8.17 gone, replaced by something else. John on the inside. Picked this one on the halfway back out, needing a big score, 9.04 to get himself into the lead. And he pulls through the back. So Taj with tube to combo. John with just that single barrel. I think we're going to see Taj still in the lead after that exchange, Joe.
Just such an amazing thing just watching Florence backside tube ride. He's always as deep as you could possibly be. That last wave spit twice before he came out.
That's what he does, though. I mean, that's why people want to watch him. That's why he's one of the most popular surfers on the planet, and I reckon he's got a bunch of world titles that are going to be coming very shortly.
An absolute bomb out the back. Taj just pacing himself. It's getting really hollow. Burrow locks in a heavy section on a perfect line. An amazing read now as he comes flying out. He'll set up that backside carve. He's celebrating. Rosie Hodge, the vibe's got to be electric out there.
Was that a 10? That had to have been something spectacular. I mean, you just see everyone has the 99 Burrow jersey on. They are going berserk, and you'll see as he gets on the ski, Taj Burrow is on a tear. He's going to fly by us, and everyone is going to go wild. I mean, this is definitely one of the best heats I think I've ever seen.
Well, Rosie, we can hear the screams from here. Nomotu is absolutely on their feet, but what about Taj's performance? We're kind of calling it one of his best heats he's surfed in the last couple of years.
Watch him as he comes by. You can just see, I mean, he's glowing right now. This is tapping into just, you know, that kind of energy when you're an athlete and you're getting waves like that and everyone's out here cheering you on. I mean, that's the best feeling in the world. I know Potts, I mean, he's won a world title, so he knows all about this feeling, but just to witness this energy and his performance coming together like this, it's so special.
Really special to know Taj Burrow calling it quits here in Fiji. And you mentioned, Rosie, that he also has his fellow competitors in the lineup as well sticking around for this heat.
Yeah, I mean, Mick Fanning pretty much paddled straight after his heat and got in that pack with all the Aussies to cheer on his friend Taj. And you can just see, I mean, there's so much respect from him, from all his peers and all the athletes that are out there with him. And it's just so cool to see. I mean, Taj has been someone that's probably inspired John.
Thank you so much, Rosie Hodge, and that is for certain. Taj Burrow inspiring so many for decades. Ross Williams, one of our co-commentators, just translated all this old footage he had on his home video camera, digitized it, took a long time, and it's one of those tapes that has the date on the corner. It said 1996, and he filmed a wave of Taj Burrow at D-Bah, and Ross, as a competitor at the time, was just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe how well this kid surfs. And he said, wow, way back when, we always knew he was going to be a threat. And it was really before he set himself against the best guys in the world.
Yeah, and he's still here, 19 years later, dropping bombs. And John got the lead back, though, with a 9.43. Taj needed a wave around about 8.4. He dropped an 8.6, so got the lead back. Now John needs an 8.37. We talk about that seesaw battle. It has gone back and forth after each exchange. That last one of Taj, I mean, that was one of the bigger ones we've seen, but just didn't quite get as deep as what he would have liked. Still, 8.6 gets the lead back and puts that pressure back onto John, who now needs an excellent score to get himself back in the lead. Wow.
Well, this is one of the best heats of the contest, maybe the best. When we really think about what's going down, they're surfing perfect Cloudbreak, as good as it gets. We've got two of the biggest names in the sport, Taj leaving the tour after this venue, and Florence thinking about a world title race. John always put as one of the best barrel riders in the world, and continuing to get lead changes back and forth as we go back to this last wave from TB.
Yeah, 7.33 on this one. Big wave. Just didn't quite get as deep as what he would have hoped, though. Hard to slow yourself down on those waves. They're moving so fast. And then Taj, just that wraparound kick out. So the crowd are going wild out there for Taj Burrow. 7.33, and this is the 9.43 from John. You talk about the wave spat twice before he came out. There's the second time, and then he pops out after the spit. No one gets as deep as he does. Maybe Kelly, but that's about it.
We think back to that super heat that John had with Kelly at Chopu. All-time conditions, semi-final, deemed the heat of the year that season. Probably the best conditions we ever had for the event. These two went head-to-head. John just losing on the tie-break, and Kelly had a perfect 10. We're seeing big numbers going Florence's way once again, a 9.43. That's the high score of this matchup. Still needs an 8.37 to take the lead. Taj Burrow throwing away an 8, throwing away a 7.33. Remember last year when Freddie P decided to call it quits? Something came behind him and he got a 10 before he dropped the mic.
And John's got to be thinking, hang on a sec, here's this guy that's retiring. I've dropped a 9.43 and I'm still losing. I still need an excellent score to get myself into that first spot. So that's what we're talking about. Taj is quitting because he wants to, not because he has to. And I think there's a big difference right there. A guy that doesn't have the ability to qualify again for next year gets knocked off the tour. Taj is choosing to quit. Why? Because he wants to. He's still dropping bombs. I mean, this kid can surf on tour for at least another 5 years if he wants to.
That's always been a very important message, especially in your era, Potts, of moving on your own terms. I remember Luke Egan said the same thing when he called it quits. He didn't fall off tour, but he made the decision himself. What's so meaningful to represent yourself like that on tour?
Well, it's, like I said, it's just that respect to walk away with a good taste in your mouth rather than quitting because you haven't got it anymore, or and then you lose a lot of respect. So I think Taj is doing a fantastic job at walking away at the right time. You want to be able to still mix it up with the world's best, and I think in the back of his mind in a couple of years he's going to probably think, wow, should I have retired so early? But he's been there for 19 years. I mean, he's done his job. He's been one of the most innovative surfers, most progressive surfers on the planet for year after year after year, and that wears you down. He's got a beautiful little family now. He wants to concentrate on other stuff. So, like I said, his competitive career is coming to an end, but this kid's going to surf at a high level for many years to come.
So impressive watching Taj for so long. As we see a wave now setting up, rolling in, nice and casual. John Florence starts with a big under the lip hook. Now looks to go straight up. A big fan of water going off the top. Now it's starting to go a little bit off speed. So John gets out. Florence surfing for an 8.37 to hope for a lead change. A man that kicked off the year with one of his favorite days of his surfing life, winning the Quicksilver in memory of Eddie Aikau. Took a lot of beatings, and you see right there that wave just sneaking up on him, and he had to get underneath it.
Yeah, and here's the guy that won the Eddie. I mean, if he's bailing out on that inside, then it's consequential, that's for sure. I mean, that last wave of John was incredible. I don't know how or where they're going to fit that in. I mean, he needs an 8.37. Was it better than Taj's 7.33? That big barrel didn't quite disappear. I mean, it was two crazy turns there from John, but I think the highest scores we've seen so far have been about the tube. So are the judges going to mix up the scale and reward this kind of surfing? I think they might have to. Look at that turn right there. Critical under the lip surfing from John. And again, just look how much water is getting displaced. This kid's putting so much power into those turns. That was a 15-foot fan of water out the back of that wave right there. So two solid maneuvers. And if we go back to day one where we saw combos, Joe, we saw guys doing, Geordie Smith, for example, 3 big turns or 2 big turns, finished off nicely. He went into the 9. So where is that wave going to fit in today?
Yeah, because we're comparing him to big barrels like you're mentioning.
Yeah.
So that sometimes it's just a different scale according to the conditions. Always makes us wondering where the judges will go when someone absolutely explodes with huge power hacks on the back end. We saw Taj get a keeper with his 8.6 when he just basically beat a section with a tail drift. Florence needing an 8.37, focusing on his world title campaign and surfing against a guy that he looked up to when he's just a little kid growing up in Hawaii, seeing an Australian take over the world with video parts and finishing runner-up in the world multiple times in his career. Taj has won over $2 million competitively, $2,235,000 plus. That's just coming from the jersey. That's just a little bonus to celebrate. He said some of his favorite memories of his life came on tour. Scores in now, Potts, for John. It's not enough for a lead change. It's an 8.13, but he'll stay in second.
Yeah, one judge gave him the nod. One judge threw an 8.7, all the way down to a 7.8, a couple of 8.2s and an 8. So average that out, 8.13. Still looking for an 8.37. Still plenty of time remaining though. Taj Burrow with the lead. It's not like John's making this easy for Taj. Taj is just surfing out of his skin right now.
We've talked to Taj after the opening event of the season, and he had a lot of words for us, especially at Bells as well when he lost relatively early. And he just is like, I just got to give credit to Joel Parkinson real fast and all the guys that were famous for bringing their whole family on tour, having kids, raising their kids on tour. Taj said his head was in so many different places. He didn't even know where to go with it. And they started realizing, okay, my head's somewhere else. He said when his daughter was born, it was by far the best day of his life. and he's looking forward to staying close with his family in West Oz. He has so many waves he can surf in front of his house by himself. When he said he made the big announcement, Potts, at West Oz that he was going to hang it up, it wasn't like he didn't surf the next day. He surfed all day long the next day. He's going to be surfing forever.
No, but that's exactly right. I mean, you know, you start surfing because it's this amazing sport, you know, and it's more of a lifestyle when you begin it, and then once your career's over, once your competitive career's over, you go back to basics again. You go back to that pure grassroots of the sport, and that's just the love of riding waves, Joe. Florence, that never ends, you know.
That's right, Potts. Florence up and out as he kicks out, still chasing an 8.37. As we know, Bede is in John's corner as a coach, but he's a proud Australian that often stays with Taj on the moto. He might be conflicted in this heat. Strider, you're out there. How's he feeling?
It's hard to say. I mean, the boys are psyching for Taj, but, you know, obviously Bede's got work on the mind and trying to get the good vibe out there for, you know, John. But he's definitely probably torn right down the middle, 50-50. Right now, you know what, Taj is getting a nod as the waves pour through out here. There's going to be some more on the horizon. Conditions are holding up, and the boys are psyching.
Well, Strider, we're watching this. This is John Florence chasing an 8.37, slams on the brakes, super deep. This wave staying wide open. Florence comes out without a problem. Straight up, vertical in the pocket, and the wave spits its guts out underneath that backhand snap.
Wow.
What a Cloudbreak special and a beautiful combo from the Hawaiian. The whole channel is freaking out because Burrow's on the next wave. And we'll see if he had anything before that little fall on the inside.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like he came out of that, and the body language told me that he might have done something special. Tell you what, it's going to have to be, because John just locked in something crazy as well. I think that's going to rival his 9.43. That wave that breathed twice, Joe. I think that was as deep, maybe more wide open. I don't know.
What a heat.
Have to have
heat of the
look
ear
at that
pots?
Thing.
Can we call it that?
Easy.
It was like that in the first 10 minutes.
I think we can, it's going to be hard to beat this, that's for sure. I mean,
because you have perfect waves, constant lead changes, ample opportunity for both surfers and guys in top form.
The situation as well. This was Taj Burrow on the wave behind, stalling, pulling in, traveling. Is he going to come out of this? Of course he is. Taj Burrow just throws his hands up, and there's that body language you talk about. I knew something special had happened. And then John's, whose is better? I mean, you guys decide at home, because I don't even know anymore. Look at that wave right there. John just pulling in, just sliding in, comes out nice and clean. You always talk about that ability to be able to maximize that time in the barrel. No one stays in there as long as he does. Two massive scores about to be locked in. Who's going to get the nod on that exchange?
Impressive going back and forth. Obviously, there's some technical things going down inside the barrel. Oftentimes, the judges up in the tower on their off breaks will kind of sit in the channel for a heat, check out the foam ball to see what's happening. Those little subtleties of adjustments. Did they have to go over a foam ball section to make their tubes? How critical was the takeoff? All those things are going down to make a decision on this score. It's been back and forth. Taj Burrow taking off a little bit out the back. John's just been sliding straight into the pit to maximize the tube time. Let's see how this one's going to end up.
Yeah, you know, I think, I don't know. I mean, they're both amazing waves. So, I mean, they're both surfing incredibly well. I think they're both going to have nines, 2 9-point rides in their scores, and it's just a matter of who's got the best backup 9.
What an epic battle going down here. Round 3, heat number 10. Let's check out the water angle of these rides. John's first.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's perfect. Perfect positioning, perfect technique, perfect form, and then finishes off with a bang. So, I don't know, is that as good as his 9.43? We took off on the same section of the reef. Very similar, maybe cleaner, I don't know.
Just about the same when you think about it.
It's a toss-up. It's definitely, and then I'd like to see Taj's again too, because that was a pretty solid one as well. There we go, John's has locked in, Joe.
So John had the 9.43 on wave number 4. Last wave, relatively close, a 9.33, where he got barreled, then did the snap combination, getting the lead change. So Burrow then needed a 9.56 on the wave behind to get another lead change. As you see the judges' opinions there, it's kind of all over. 9.7, 9.8 on the high end, even as low as an 8.8 on the low end.
Wow.
So we could have a little discrepancy, or not discrepancy, but different opinions on the panel who's winning this heat.
Yeah, well, I like that. You know, I like the judges having their own opinions. That's what they're there for, and I think they're doing a fantastic job. Taj needing a 9.56 to get himself back in this heat. I knew they were both going to finish with 9s, and scores slowly. Judges having a good long hard think about Taj's last wave. It's a bigger one. He had to slow down a bit more, had to drag more, but then spend a lot of time in there. It was a bigger set wave, a bit more white water on the face. But look how deep he is right there, and he comes flying out with the spit. Well, I'll tell you what, I think it might come down to who's got the highest 9. At the moment, John's got that 9.43, backed it up with a 9.33. Taj with a 9.20. He needs a 9.56. 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. Without a doubt, the heat of the year. I've already put my vote in.
It's already there. Taj Burrow came flying out of the barrel. Should he have surfed that wave to the finish and gone for some big turns, especially with this heat being so close?
That could be the deciding factor, Joe. You never know. You know, you've got to... All right, the judges are looking at this right now. Sort of nice, cleaner wave, and then finished off with a snap. And then you look at Taj's wave, where it's a bit frothier but bigger, a bit more difficult. Now it cleans up, and he comes out with the spit. But what does he do next? This could be the difference. Falls off. Judges don't like that. They've been very critical with finishing off your waves. So we're just going to have to wait and see, Joe. It's anyone's game right now.
Down to 90 seconds on the clock. Will this be the last heat of the career for Taj Burrow, representing Western Australia, but really representing one of the top athletes ever in surfing history? Former runner-up in the world, a guy that you just wanted to give a world title. We sort of stopped asking him that question the last handful of years because he was happy on tour, celebrated performances at waves like Snapper Rocks, Lower Trestles, were some of his favorite venues to show his high-performance acts. He got to ring the bell, has a Pipe Masters to his name, and now celebrating a family back in West Oz. Score still waiting to lock in for Taj, but there's more waves on the way.
There is more waves on the way. Taj Burrow with priority. You know what? He's got to surf like he needs another one. That's what I would do. Scores dropping now for Taj Burrow's last ride.
It's a 9.4, and it's not enough for a lead change. He has an 18.6 total in seconds. You see a couple of high scores once again, 8-point range. The low scores in the early 9s, 9.2. Incredible matchup on paper. By far the heat of the year. Taj out the back, holding priority when it's just 15 seconds on the clock to possibly turn around this matchup.
Taj needed a 9.56. He got a 9.40, so that little mishap at the end of that wave could be the difference that it comes down to. Had he finished that off, I think we were looking at Taj Burrow winning this heat.
What a battle. John Florence surfs the last heat ever against Taj Burrow, as Taj Burrow makes it official and will be calling this a career here at the Fiji Pro. And check out the numbers. He had an 8, a 9.2, 8.60, and a 9.4 on comeback to try to turn around that result. Something to be proud of. He always is entertaining us, and just like Taj would do on his send-off, turned in a highlight reel that we could see in a movie part coming soon.
Oh, we're going to watch that heat over and over again for many, many years to come. You know, like I said, this kid's quitting because he wants to, not because he can't cut it anymore. We just proved it right there. And did he want to win? Well, he dropped 2 9-point rides. I mean, of course he wanted to win. He just came up to come up against a guy that was on fire.
An emotional day saying goodbye to Taj Burrow. We'll be continuing to remember his stellar career over the past 2 decades as John moves on to round 4. Coming up next, Ace Buchan takes on Miguel Pupo, bringing Ronnie Blakey and Ross Williams for the call.
Well, John, you are the catalyst to what seems like every heat of the year that we ever get to witness. And coming up against Taj, I mean, his last ever heat in his career, that must have been a special moment for you.
Oh, it was such a special moment. You know, that, especially having a heat like that, it was one of the best heats of my life. And to have it with Taj, you know, before he leaves the tour is one of the coolest things ever. And it's just amazing everything Taj contributed to surfing. You know, just watching him since I was a little kid do airs and watching him win events, and him and making those guys just getting me psyched up to be on this tour. And that was an amazing heat, and I'm so stoked.
And just tell me about the energy. I mean, we had so many people out here for Taj, and that you're one of, everyone's favorite surfer. So tell me about having that, pretty much the energy shifting maybe in Taj's favor at the moment in the water. I mean, there were so many supporters out there. So how did you kind of quiet that noise?
Yeah, it was definitely, everyone's got the Taj shirts on and stuff, and I mean, that's super sick. I would too if I wasn't in his heat, but I just kind of quieted out and I just took it like any other heat. And, fortunately for us, the waves just started firing nonstop. And like I would kick out of a wave and just see him on an even better wave almost every time. And I'm just super stoked to get the win. I was stoked to get barreled.
And let's just put this into perspective. I mean, Seabass is out, Caio Bailey's out, Italo Ferreira's out of this contest. This is a great opportunity for you to really make a run at the world title.
Yeah, it's an awesome opportunity. Points-wise, a lot of those guys are out. But I'm just super stoked to be still going in this event. This is one of my favorite events on tour, and to get to surf this more, I think it's supposed to get bigger and bigger. And that's all I was thinking about in the heat. I was like, damn it, if I lose, I'm gonna have to watch them get good barrels the rest of the trip I'm here. But I'm super stoked to get back out there and surf some more heats with no one out.
All right, well, please keep up performances like that. Back to you guys.